take a seat. Pay us no attention, it's all conspiracy. We have satire and parody, some funny, some perverse. If none of it's offensive to you, you'd be the first.
Fairview's coffee has mysteriously gone missing. Mayhem ensues when strange, coffee-craving zombies plague the city. Detective Mickey Potatoes, an overworked public servant, uncovers why ordinary citizens are losing their minds and how to stop the coffee apocalypse. But it involves the mafia. And when you're dealing with mafia crime families, nothing is ever easy. The mafia controls everything in the city, including the police, including him. If he breaks the mafia, they will break him. So, the city is without coffee. The city is burning before his very eyes, but he's powerless. Detective Potatoes has the power to stop the coffee apocalypse, but if he does, he could lose everything.
In all the towns in all the world, she walks into mine.
It's all there, black and white, clear as crystal.
I knew I should have taken that left turn at Albuquerque.
And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Reality and Publishing Comics with me, Paul Gomez. I'm glad y'all are back, and we have very, very special guests today. But before I do want to reiterate the whole purpose of the program, which I always do at the beginning. You know, I'm pretty new to the comic industry, and it's been a rough go. I've had a lot of problems that have gotten to me till I got to this point, and it's a lot of problem solving in the comic industry, and I wanted to help other people out. That was the whole purpose of the show. Uh, it, it's hard to explain all the difficulties that have brought me here, but it's one of those things that I wanted to look out for others because I did have a lot of help along the way. And having said that, I really wanted to say that to lead into to two of the biggest, I guess, positives out of my journey, if you will. And my biggest positive is always by miles, leaps and bounds, going to be the fact that my kids were on this journey with me, and it was something that we did together, and that sparkle in their eye when they pulled out that first comic that we had, and that was definitely my biggest milestone, and it was really my goal whenever I started. I didn't expect it to grow into what it was, but my second biggest, and this definitely comes to a close second, close to that first one, it was meeting so many great people, whether it was the fans, and I call them more like friends and family nowadays, or the families at LCSs that open up their doors, like a Sanctuary or Geek Out, and tons and tons of great families that just opened up and let me in, and I was introduced to their friends, and they would talk about, the writings that we had. They got introduced to my kids and to other friends. But there was also the friends and family that I got to meet along the way that we're creating as well. And those are a special bond, if you will. Having said that, I met so many creative people. One of my top very best friends is my very special guest today, and I want everybody to know who she is, and that is Path of the Pale Riders, Laurie Calcaterra. How are you doing?
I'm gonna cry.
Oh,
Oh, thank you for that nice introduction, Paul.
I'm telling you, I really mean it. Meeting all the creators along the way and being a part of their journey as well. This wasn't exactly something that I expected to do.
Yeah.
So, meeting you and Sam and, Ken and McLean and Jeff, and man, I could go on. It's like, meeting a whole new family again. And these people are in our daily lives. I mean, me and you talk, what, 10 times a week?
At least. I mean, almost every day, but not quite. But there's always something going on, right? There always is.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's been a journey, and here you are closing out another one of your campaigns, and it's a very successful one. An amazing project, which this issue looks great. I mean, the covers are just continuously getting better. You have these interactive things that you keep throwing it. That's so special because you don't see that in most campaigns. So being your friend and seeing all this go on in the steps, it's just an amazing thing to see.
Thank you. Yeah, it keeps me busy. I'm always brainstorming what's the next cool idea. They usually get to me before it's time to release them. I have a few things up my sleeves that just came to me recently about things I'm planning to do.
Right.
I'm like super excited. I got to learn some new skills. So yeah, it keeps me on my toes, keeps me excited. But I just wanted to say the variant covers for this issue, I agree. Like every time we do an issue, the artists come on full force.
Man.
And I'm so glad that I get a copy of everyone and I don't have to choose.
Right.
But I think that shows how cool our story is, because typically what I do is I'll send artists the script, the issue that we're in. I'll let them read it and then let them pick what they think is exciting. And I think that's why I'm getting such quality art on the covers, is because it's something that excites them.
And it's such a wide variety of covers that you have too. You got the David Sanchez beautiful black and white kind of, that beautiful art rendition. You got William Russell's beautiful lines on his cover, and my favorite. My favorite's still the Big James one. I mean, that's so beautiful. I'm not taking away anything from Marco's, because Marco's a great artist. Yeah. Now I've got tons of questions for you, especially about the campaign. But before we get to that, where is this path? And is this writer really pale?
All right.
We want to know.
Here's the skinny on the title. Okay, so the original working title of this story was called Dead West. And it's kind of a pun, because in the story, you're going to see Jude is constantly asking for directions, because remember, he has this journal and he's debunking conspiracy theories. So he's always looking for something or someone. And so it's really kind of a joke to me that anytime he asks for directions, people just tell him to go west. And it's like, and they're like, just go west, dude, you'll find it. And he's just like, okay. Like, things have devolved and there's no names, like the roads are all lost, etc., etc. So it's just kind of a funny thing to me. Let's just like go west. So that name actually is the name of two different bands, like musical rock bands, and also a name of a book series. So like the name was taken on the internet, like the website was taken, there's other social media with that name, and I was just like, okay, I need something that's just gonna be us, right? So it took me a while. I sat on it for months and was just brainstorming what was the best fit. And there's the book of Revelation in the Bible, where it talks about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Okay, it has this passage where it talks about the last horseman rising on a pale horse, and he who sits upon him is named Death. Right. So we have a couple different things going on with that title. One, the path of the Pale Rider is the path of death. It also means the Pale Rider is the 4th horseman of the apocalypse. That's what we're dealing with, right? That they're missing. So it has all sorts of meanings behind it. And could it mean Jude St. Clair? Sure. Could it mean somebody else? Great. Could it mean just something figuratively? Absolutely. There is also a Clint Eastwood movie called The Pale Rider. And again, we're very much like pay homage to spaghetti westerns. I wanted that in there as well, because when people are like, Pale Rider, isn't that a Clint Eastwood movie? And I'm like, yes, it is. If you know what that is, you will like this. Right. So that whole name recognition as well. So there's a lot that went behind that. But of course I had to research to make sure nobody else had that name, and nobody does. So and you look up Path of the Pale Rider, you're going to find me and my face and Jude St. Clair and Marco DeFillo and Marty Gasparoni and all the people that have been involved.
And it does take a lot to put into a name, because I mean, you're not just thinking about the name, you're thinking about the logo and the branding that you're going to put in for that comic. Now, like I said, I've got hundreds and hundreds of questions, but I do want to talk. I do want to talk a little bit. Millions of questions. But before I talk more about your campaign, I want to talk about launching and kind of closing out campaigns. Now, because I like talking to new creators and kind of letting them know, hey, you should have a live launch. You should have an ending kind of show, closeout kind of show. Yeah. When you did the live launch for this campaign, how much thought did you put into that? And, because I know you timed it a little bit specific on those two things, right?
Yes. Now, it has to do with how Kickstarter runs. Right. And they've made changes since I launched. So it doesn't necessarily need to be this way anymore. Right. But typically with Kickstarter, you could schedule if you wanted a 30-day window, but you couldn't pick what time. So whenever you launched, your 30-day window would close based off of how you opened. So I'm always looking at like, what's a good time to launch. I try to launch in the evening so that way when we end, people still have a chance to show up after work and back us, before we close out. We usually have a little bit of time where people can hop on if they're like, oh my God, I forgot to do it. Let me get on there. There's time. Because if you close out at like 11 o'clock and everybody's at work, right? So I want to be usually where people can see me. I'm available. People are home from work, have fed their kids, etc., etc. So that's where I want to launch, and that's where I want to end. So that's what I'm looking at. But Kickstarter now will let you pick how many days, and we'll also let you pick what time you want to end. So like Carissa was like, hey, when's, when she ends, she's ending on my show at a certain time. So we could, on Tuesday when we launched her, we could push the button anytime we wanted to. It didn't matter because it would still close at the time that she wanted it to. So that's a really cool change that Kickstarter has made since, they've been making actually quite a few changes.
To
their platform to help creators, which is nice because we always do the surveys, right?
Right.
I always do the surveys, and they're asking for ways to improve the site. And like the pictures on the rewards was a big one. And then, picking the time to start and end was really cool too.
Yeah, and like I said, whenever I'm talking to creators and they're asking questions about, putting together the Kickstarter, I always try to tell them, hey, do a launch party, do an event, make it something special that you can talk to the people and let them know what you have in the campaign instead of them just going and looking without exactly understanding that what you're putting together. Now, like I said, I have a million questions. And I want to dive deep into this campaign. But before we do, let's look at the campaign and go through it real fast. Can we do that?
Yeah. I'll throw it up there.
I know everybody's seen this, but just in case there's that one person that hasn't.
Yay! Hooray! Hello! Counting down the campaign, dude. It's ended in a couple hours.
Yeah, just in case there's that one person that hasn't seen it, let's go through it real fast. And kind of, play that video, right? Talk about those things, and then we'll talk about some more questions right after that.
100 minutes. That's all that's left. That's great. I'm ready. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like whenever you're heading a project, right? So I'm head of Path of the Pale Rider. I do all the marketing. I do all the planning. I run the Kickstarter. I manage all the artists. I plan all the merch. I do the videos. I do the riddles. Like I do all like visiting the LCSs and promote all of that. I wear all those damn hats. So when you start getting close to the end of one thing, you're like, okay, let's move on.
It's very special, right? Yeah, definitely.
It's like it's done its thing. We're funded. We've had a lot of fun. There's a few more minutes for everybody to jump on and take advantage of the fact that we've broken 4 stretch goals. That's really cool. And then we're off and running to the next thing. So
like I said, let's overview it, and then we'll come back and talk about it, and then look at it.
I put Big James here. I usually have my Angel of Death picture here, but he just gets so much attention. So just, we put a few pages of art to catch people's attention, some interior pages so people can see what it looks like. There's myself, all the things that I do. Here's Marco DeFillo, all his cool history. I mean, and I say this every time I put him and Marta on the screen. They're just 2 beautiful kids taking professional photos, and then there's me that's like, I'm scary. So here's Marco DeFillo, who has been a part of Path of the Pale Rider since issue number 1. So all the art interiors and the A covers are done by Marco. He's a nice kid. We hang out at cons. He has a good sense of humor. It comes out in his art. It's really fun. And then this is the new kid on the block, Marta Gasparoni, our new colorist. So she has been also post-apocalyptic and sci-fi and psychological drama in her genres. So I was like, she fits right in.
Right.
So this will be the issue 3 will be her first involvement in our series. So I'm excited to get her, really in the trenches and challenge her artistically. We'll see what it does. The story, for those of you watching, if you're not familiar with me, which you've been sleeping under a rock, maybe. here's the story. It's like, what would you do if upon death your soul didn't leave your body? So you would be stuck in your body as it decays and going through the cognitive decay, so you could become forgetful or violent or detached. And now we have not only people, but animals, insects. Nothing gets to leave. We're all stuck here together. And our protagonist, Jude St. Clair, is kind of like the last cowboy 10 years into this apocalypse who's still looking for the answer. You know, why do the dead no longer die? And he gets through undead bears and really terrible rednecks, and then famine, riots, fall of society, conspiracy theories. We throw so much at poor Jude St. Clair. So can he succeed in figuring out what broke death and hopefully put the world right? Or is he going to succumb to an eternity of decay? And what's cool about the project, if you're not familiar, we are a comic book series, but we are also a multimedia experience. We have riddles to solve on the back cover of every issue. It might take you to a web page or send you to a phone number. There could be a hidden YouTube video. There might be it's the issue number 2. When you solve that riddle, you actually get an interaction with a character, which people are solving the riddle and I'm sending out interactions as we go. And it's really cool to see it happen. And then of course we have the fan interactive short films, which we'll talk about, you know, when we get down to that section. But if you like, spaghetti western, sci-fi, zombie, Walking Dead, Mad Max, Book of Eli, I Am Legend, Fallout, Red Dead Redemption, that's kind of where this falls, is a good mix of all of those things. So keep going. These are some of the updates. We've all look unlocked. We unlocked the other one too. So here's the final cover for Dave. This is kind of like as the Kickstarter was going, you know what I mean? Some of the updates, some of the art that was coming in, people asking questions, me adding stuff, bigger pictures so they could see it better. Here's the interior, or the cover and the interiors for issue number 3. This is the A cover by Marco DeFillo. Again, his sense of humor comes out, because if you're looking, this is Jude St. Clair with his resting bitch face, right? And he's sitting on top of his ambulance because he's an EMT, as we find out. And he's smoking a cigarette and having a burger from Big James Burgers. I was like, okay. I didn't know that was a burger chain in this world, but it is now, according to Marco DeFillo.
You never know. Maybe Big James was the mascot.
You know, I was thinking they probably, we could write this into canon. They named their Big James because he turns everyone into basically ground beef.
Yeah.
So that's that could be the origin of Big James's name. But I mean, like, behind Jude, the world is on fire, literally. Like, people are throwing Molotov cocktails and there's police helicopters, and Marco has this uncanny ability to show what's going to happen in the issue on the front cover. So it's like you see it and you're like, wow, that's really cool. And then you read the issue, go back and look at his cover, and it makes more sense. Right. On a deeper level. So that's why Marco and I make such a good team, is because we're always adding layers. So I write layers in, and he'll put stuff in the background that I didn't create, but he just adds to the story. He makes the world more fleshed out, and sometimes very comical in the background. So even though we are dark at times, Marco puts some funny things in there, man, and it just makes me laugh. So here's some interior pages, the first 4 pages of the comic. So if you have read issue number 2, we did a time jump. We went back to the beginning of the apocalypse. This is day 1 where death went missing. And we get to see Jude St. Clair as a young man. He's a rookie EMT, and he's really on the front lines of seeing how everything falls apart. So here's some pages. This character, you see this guy here, Carlos?
Yeah.
Have we talked about Carlos before?
Well, you've told me.
Oh, okay.
So, but, you know, go ahead and tell everybody else.
All right. So Carlos is another character of Marco DeFillo's. So he's done some, like, they did a 3-page story published in Image Comics. They did like a compilation of new artists. So him and King Eddie, who was the writer, did a 3-page comic. I don't know what you should call it, standalone. And the main character was named Carlos. And then King Eddie also writes this other series called Mauka, which is an apocalypse based on like the island of Oahu, which is really interesting. And Marco draws that one as well, and draws one of the main characters. His name is Carlos. And King Eddie and I were talking about, the multiverse of Carlos. And I was like, that's so weird, because in issue 3, I have a character named Carl, who's an Hispanic man who drives the ambulance. And he was like, oh yeah? And I was like, that's your Carlos right there. He's like, let's do it. So we changed Carl to Carlos, but really not much else. So Marco gets to draw Carlos in yet another story, which is kind of funny. So if you follow specifically Marco DeFillo, you're going to see Carlos pop up a lot. We want no spoilers about Carlos, so something happens. Spoilers. All right, so here they are treating this poor guy who got smashed by an 18-wheeler because he was singing an Elvis song, and has car parts sticking out of him. He is not making it. Look, his eyes roll back into his skull. They defibrillate this guy, and he's flatlining. So I love this page because Marco will always draw non-traditional panels. And if you look into what's behind the panels, a lot of times he's telling you more information. So this is the heart monitor flatlining. So I want people to hear that sound of that alarm going off, just the incessant flatline, in an emergency. And then, of course, he does not make it. And then Jude is sad. Poor sad Jude. I laugh because Jude is sad a lot. And then, of course, this is a very iconic kind of zombie movie or genre where it's like, oh, they're dead. Let's cover them with the blanket. And then they sit up.
Right.
Right. So that's kind of what we were going for there. It's just like, and of course, this is where it's very clear that our undead are not flesh-eating zombies and trying to eat people. He's talking.
Right.
Oh, guys.
He's sentient. He still has a little bit of his mind there.
Yeah. He's able to communicate. So, so he is different. And then, of course, the scenes that follow this are actually, we'll explain quite a bit more, but they're actually really funny. If you're not laughing in this next scene, I have missed the mark. We'll just put it that way. So, and of course, here are our variant covers. Cover
Beautiful.
A.
Beautiful covers.
And we've talked about this too, but I usually do 4 variants. 2 are usually by like established comic book art, like veterans that have been in the business and have a following, and And the other 2, I don't. They're usually not even, comics is not their forte. So Angelo Aquino is a high school teacher. He teaches art and he teaches illustration, so digital art. And he's very good at vector art. So I kind of approached him. I've been watching him on social media, Facebook, and he posts some really interesting things. And one of them we're actually using in the campaign. That Skull Arena design was what caught my eye. And I was just like, really like this. Do you want to do a cover? And he was like, sure. So I sent him the script, and this is what he came up with, that very polarizing image of no pulse, no rights versus dead outside, still human inside. So those are kind of like the 2 views that are knocking heads in the culture right then. It's like, well, okay, once your heart stops, you're done. You got no rights. Versus the, hey, I'm still human here, and I have feelings, and I can think. I don't have a pulse, but I'm still here. So we're going to see a lot of what, conflict comes from there. Of course, the big James Fabulous cover.
Yeah.
Did I tell you what Everett did for this?
What was that?
So he's done 2 other covers for Path of the Pale Rider. Issue 1, he did the Jude St. Clair standing against the sunset with the smoking gun. Right. And then issue 2, he did the Christmas Tree of Doom. Right. Right? Okay. So for this one, he was like, do you trust me? And I was like, oh, I do. But, you never want an artist to waste time. Time is so precious. Where it's like, if he turns in something and I'm like, I hate it. You know what I mean? Then he's got to start over. And he was like, I don't want to tell you the concept. Just know that it's Big James. And I'm like, well, I'm okay with Big James, of course. He's like, if you trust me, just let me do it. And I was like, okay, dude, I trust you. You've had 2 very successful covers. Do your thing. And he drops this, and I was just like,
beautiful, beautiful cover. Great job there.
And he dropped it the same week that Cocaine Bear came out into the theaters.
Yeah.
I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I'm like, this is perfect. We're gonna release it. So amazing. But again, Everett is a graphic designer.
Yeah. And you can tell, I mean, this is a great, great cover. I mean, I love it. It's my favorite by far. Yeah.
It's the fan favorite so far. I think it has more people have backed this cover than any of the, well, except for Marco's cover. Marco's cover is the A cover.
Yeah. Of course, the interior cover is always, of
course.
Great.
But out of the variants, I think this one is number 1, and William Russell's is a close second. I think they're off by 1. So, but they're all really good. They're all so, and like I said, I'm so happy I don't have to choose because I want them all.
They are all beautiful covers. This one right here. Yeah, that's amazing.
Amazing. And it's like, I so wanted to show off what he was doing. He's like, nope, not ready to share. I was just like, so close. We're so close. I can't wait to show everybody. Just amazing cover. And this is a main character we have not met. When I talked with David about the story and kind of where it was going, this is the character that really intrigued him and asked if he could draw this character. And I said, sure. We need more, people need to understand there are females in this world. Right now, we're so focused on Jude because it's the beginning of his story. But there are other main characters besides Jude. We just haven't gotten there yet. And she is super important to the story. And it's funny because we're going to meet a couple characters and you're going to think it's one and it's the other one. So I'm like, you think it's this one? It's not. And of course, the William Russell on Death by Snoo Snoo, which, we wanted to bring up the topic of this as well. What happens to sexy time once you're undead? There's a lot of taboos that go away or become less taboo, or it's an interesting topic, and we had never discussed it before this issue. It just hasn't come up. So I kind of wanted to bring it to the forefront. Plus, he is so good at doing pinups. I was like, let's do it.
Yeah. William Russell's awesome.
Yeah, it's beautiful. She'll kill you. Not in the way you think so. We'll leave it by that. So just a little snippets of the previous issues, the interior work. Of course, issue 1 was black and white. We are going to go back and color issue 1. So it will eventually be in color. Here's issue 2. This one was colored by Marco DeFillo. Here's Dwayne Fink, our next really good character, who's the next Funko Pop coming up. Love this page. Where the cards are the panels.
Right.
Of course, we got a really good saloon brawl.
Nice fight scene, definitely.
Fight choreographed by moi. Marco threw in this I Am Sparta kick. I liked it though. Of course, Marco did the cover for the Choose Your Own Path. So it's a 60-page Choose Your Own Adventure book. It's a manga size book. There are illustrations done by David Rodriguez, who is another artist who's been heavily involved in our project. So it's you get to put on the hat and the boots and walk around the wasteland and run bounties. And there's other stuff in there. And it's quite an adventure. You're going to see characters that show up in the main story that we haven't gotten to. There's some really gruesome deaths. It's a good time. If you make it through, kudos to you. Actually, the first person to make it through all the way to the end was Jorge Medina.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Way to go.
Yep. Of course,
some great add-ons.
Yeah, you can add that on. We wanted to make sure people could customize their own reward. So if you wanted issue 3, but you missed issue 2, you can add on an issue 2, either as physical or as PDF. You could add on the Choose Your Own Adventure. You can add on a t-shirt, whatever you like. We made it pretty easy to add on. And then I think there's keychains you can add on and some other merch that you won't see in the campaign, just in case you wanted something extra. Stretch goals. We unlocked this bad boy. It looks familiar, eh?
Awesome.
So we reached 5,000. We unlocked 8 additional PDFs for the readers. And this is for both physical and digital backers, which I think is such a great idea. Everybody wins. Because not only do the readers get 8 additional comics to read, creators, we get to get our books out to a new audience, and everybody wins. It's like all the backers get it. Everybody wins. So I gave you a brief description of what these books are. There's a little bit of everything in here. There's, of course, horror. There's 2 of them that are zombie. Mother's Whisper will give you nightmares. PTSD is, of course, your story with the veteran, which is life-changing. Orphan Bloodline, Rick Dury's book is so crazy. I don't know how he keeps it all in there. It's like, read this. Historically influenced cyberpunk future versus past revenge saga. So he's into a secret society called the Bloodline, resulting in them gaining biomechanical enhancements to their genetically inherited blood powers. And that add in some time travel, and it's like, God, it'll just warp your mind. I'm really looking forward to see how that one progresses, because it's crazy. And then, of course, Ink just finished up their Kickstarter. They were successful. And this is about a tattoo artist, Shane Murphy, who is burdened with the destiny of keeping the realm. Really cool. We unlocked this 4x6 of the Skull Arena print that I was talking about. This is Angelo Aquino's work that what caught my eye. And he was so gracious to let us use this for the campaign as well. We just unlocked the 6,000 slice and dice, and I'm super excited to do this. Where I get to smash. Oh, what?
Fun stuff.
Oh, man, we're going to destroy a watermelon. I was like, I get to murder a watermelon. Hello. Oh, I'm ignoring the chat. Hello. Hello, Carol. Hades. I'm not sure. Facebook user. Hello. That could be Jeff Muth. He likes to come on and give you crap. Maybe not. Well, hello, everyone. Squee. Don wants to choose your own adventure. It's cool. So we're here. We broke this one, and I'm really looking forward to just murdering some fruit on a live stream.
Now you're gonna murder some fruit. Are you gonna dress like that?
I haven't decided. I could go full on machete. I was also thinking of getting the Pikachu suit out, because that would also be funny. I don't know. We'll see. I could leave it up to the backers and let them vote.
Now, when will this happen?
I haven't decided, but it will happen fairly quickly. There's a 2-week period where I don't have anything to do, so we could do it during then. I just want to make sure it's warm enough outside. Right. I have to be outside. I also want to make sure that I have, if we go sledgehammer, I have an idea of what we can do to make the whole thing implode. Because the problem with sledgehammer is it's a big sledgehammer, but still it goes into the fruit. It doesn't smash it. So you either need like the big Harley Quinn hammer with more surface area, but I think I have a solution for that. Yeah, and I will definitely, if I'm doing the whole full-on Pikachu, I'll scream Pikachu as I kill it. So we'll be Pokemon accurate. So yeah. So we're up to here.
Awesome.
We've got more stuff if we're gonna get up there, but I don't think we're gonna get that much farther in how much time we have left.
I mean, that's still a lot of great stretch goals that have been unlocked. So I mean, if any of y'all haven't contributed to this, make sure you understand that those stretch goals are there for you to have for free with any of those tiers. So I mean, it's just make sure you're backing the projects that you love. These are amazing stuff that's going to come with it. So, having reviewed it, like I said, I do have a million questions about this wonderful world. Let's talk a little bit more about Jude St. Clair. Yeah. Why is it that we focused on Jude, and what makes him so special?
He's like the last guy still looking for the answer. Like I said, I mean, like if you look at what happened with the pandemic,
Yeah.
It sucked, right? But after a year and a half, we're like, okay, we're done with this. We just want to live our lives. Let us move on. I don't want to talk about it anymore, right?
Right.
This is 10 years into that apocalypse.
So everybody's just settled down. They're all comfortable, finding their own way. But Jude is like, wait a minute.
He is stuck. Right?
Why is he stuck?
That's a great question. And you're going to start finding that out in issues 3 and 4. They really cover what starts him on this path. So I'm not going to spoil it, but you have to read 3 and then 4. Something, like I said, we cover about 5 years of the apocalypse in issue 3, and we always have a killer ending. So I'll keep that in mind. Remember, people don't get attached to characters because, right, we're going back in the past and you see all these new characters and they weren't with Jude in the future.
I'm attached to Big James. I'm sorry.
Well, I don't know why, because that guy will eat your face.
Well,
I mean, he's already dead, but speaking of
how
Big
dare
James,
you speak ill of the dead?
you will see him in this issue, Big James.
Good.
We actually had a backer level where you will get drawn into this comic and get mauled by Big James.
And that was gone so fast, man, because I was like,
I
was almost. Yeah.
Yep.
So, okay. So we're following Jude. Now, let me ask this. This is issue 3. How many issues are we going to have?
So in the when I wrote this, it was a screenplay for a full-length movie.
Mm-hmm.
So the first kind of season, I mean, we broke it up into issues, right? Because we're doing floppies. So in my mind, it's more like a Netflix series at this point because you're getting like episodes of what's happening in this long story. Bless you. Bless you. I know y'all couldn't hear it, but I could see it. So there's 13 episodes in the kind of first season of Path of the Pale Rider. Those have been completed since 2018. I think I did some rewrites in 2019. I added some stuff in 2020 before we started because I was already writing the second season. I'm 9 episodes into the second season. And I know where it ends. I just gotta I'm stuck and I've been so busy wearing all these other hats. I just have to get it out, right?
And you got plenty of time. I mean, we're still on
far ahead.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
And then there will be a third season, probably between 12 or 13 episodes. And then that will close out Path of the Pale Rider. There is an ending. It's a hard stop. So there won't be, it's not an ongoing, people Lost, where it's now we literally have no idea what we're watching anymore. It's more like a Breaking Bad, where we are crafting the story and headed towards what that ultimate ending will be.
Right.
So everything is intentional. We're not wandering in the weeds. So, we got quite a ways to go. Quite a ways.
So you spoke about issue 1 being colored. Are you going to offer that in the next campaign? How is that? How can people get that?
Well, it all depends on how we do campaign wise. Marco DeFillo is not the cheapest artist out there. He is worth every single penny. He's been published by Image. So, and he's a busy guy. So we want to make sure we pay him to stay involved.
Right.
Of course. So, it takes me a little bit more dollars to create an issue than most, especially because I'm not the artist. I'm the writer. Right. So I'm paying the page rate for both Marco and Marta, plus all the merchandise, plus the shipping, plus the fees, et cetera, right? So just depending on when we can get a few dollars here and there, I would probably end up paying some of it out of pocket. But the goal is, once we finish 4, to do a trade paperback as a collection of 1 through 4. And at that point, everything will be in color.
Okay, so if you did want issue 1 in color, that trade paperback is going to come, and that the first part's going to be in color. That's what you're saying.
Correct.
That's awesome, because I know I'm looking forward to that. I know I've got issue 1, but I love to see it. Love to see it in color.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It'll hit so much harder. That whole ending scene where the chase happens, and I'm not going to go into spoilers because if there's people watching, it will hit that much harder.
Well,
The
and we're
results.
introduced to Big James, but I mean, when you're
Yes.
introduced to him, he's not. And again, Big James is my favorite. You know, we're not introduced to him in that full force that I'd love to see, and I can't wait to see it. I mean, don't get me wrong, because I'm definitely going to be there on every issue, but to see that first issue colored, I can't wait.
I agree with you. I actually remember Marco did color the splash page from there. Wait, let me go.
Yes.
Because it's all the way here at the top. Look, I mean, that's that splash page from issue 1. It's going to be incredible. So it'll be nice to see that come to fruition. It's just, you know, the funds that are coming from this campaign are going to create issue 3. And when we get extra dollars and sell books, I can, hey, you want to go color a page? Like, go color a page, you know?
Right.
But it's that decision of where do you spend the extra dollars? Do we go back and color 1 or do we start working on 4?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, being an indie creator, you have to kind of weigh the options and figure out what you're going to do. Now, like I said, Big James is my favorite, and you did make a Funko out of him. You did make a limited amount.
Yep. There's 1 left.
1 left, people. So make sure you're going out there and back checking those tiers. And if you want that 1 left, it's there. Next campaign, you're not going to have that. You're going to actually do a different Funko, right?
Yep, we're doing Dwayne Fink next campaign. So every campaign that we do, someone gets the prototype, right? So someone gets the brand new one. That's the singularity level. And she's gotten it the last three times. It's the same person, but she almost didn't this time. And I was afraid because if she didn't get it, she'd probably show up at my house.
Yeah, probably. I mean,
me.
Like you said, being written in just by getting eaten by Big James went that first day. You have to be on your buttons on the next campaign. So don't just go and get the campaign, but go sign up on the page so you can know whenever that's coming out. You know, you do have a Path of the Pale Rider on Facebook, right? So to update people, but you know, even if you get a tier,
social media, but that notify me button is great because when people click that, it'll send you an email to be like, it's live, and you can hop on and grab. And a lot of times I'm already previewing like, hey, there's this coming, there's this coming, there's this coming.
Right.
And we're always going to have the Funkos, and I'll tell people, you know, what the next one is. Because typically, like, the singularity will get it, and we'll take pictures and we'll share it. So then when the next campaign comes, people will know what the 5 are. You know what I mean? Because we open up that last character for the next campaign, and there's usually like you can get 5 max. I think Jude we did up to 10, but even then the sculptor was like, I don't know if I can do 10.
Now, I don't know if we're going to open this up to other people coming in. I know we might have a guest or 2, but before that second hour comes on, like I said, I have a million questions. And one of the main questions that I have to ask you before anybody else comes in and I get interrupted or whatnot is, do you have any other projects you can talk to us about?
Yes.
Oh, what are we talking about?
Okay, so I am writing issues 4, 5, and 6 of a series called Psycho Sal.
Oh, William Russell's Psycho Sal, yes.
Correct. William Russell is the creator, and he will bring in a writer to flesh out the story. And then it's an interesting concept that he has because it's a total of 9 issues for this story.
Right.
And the first 3 were told from the homicide, the detectives, the FBI profilers about what this guy was doing. And it's based in New Orleans in the 80s.
Right.
There's a serial killer. He leaves two trademarks. He leaves a painting, and he leaves it looks like a voodoo symbol card at the scene of the crime. Okay. So that's every single one. So, and then issues 4, 5, and 6, William wanted them written from a female victim's point of view. Right. So to give it a new feel, just a completely different direction, he wanted a different writer from the jump. But then he was like, I really want 4, 5, and 6 to have that authentic feel and have it written from a female writer. I just happened to join Charter right around that time. And Chris Hayes has read the script for Path of the Pale Rider, so he knows all the jump scares that are coming. And he was like, William, I want you to meet Laurie. She's a great writer. You know, this is what she's working on. So William and I started writing. I started taking notes, and then it was like, okay, would you like to write 4, 5, and 6? Absolutely.
That's awesome. So if y'all are fans of her writing, you know, Path of the Pale Rider, you're going to be in for a treat whenever it comes to Psycho Sal. You need to get those books to catch up on that next, because she would be the writer on the next book, I believe it is.
Yes.
So
they
keep
just
an eye.
finished 3 on Kickstarter.
Yes.
It's already completed. The art production is done. I think they have to go to editing and then printing. So he's like, I finished the script for 4 a couple months ago, and he was just like, is it ready? You know, I was like, well, let's read it together. If you need any changes, we'll do that. And he's like, this looks great. I think we're ready, and it's going to art production. So this next campaign, when it comes out, it's going to have my additional credits on there, which will be really cool. I'm excited to be a part of, you know, an additional script as a writer.
Yeah.
I'm also a part of Worthy Chaos just as a script consultant. I basically just help edit and point out if there's any inconsistencies, but nothing major there. But my name does show up in their credits as well.
That's awesome. And like I said, if you're a fan of Path of the Pale Rider, you got to definitely check out the next Psycho Sal that's coming out. Are there any other projects that are on the horizon you can hint at, or you know, something else you're looking for?
There's other things that I'm involved in, but it's not far enough along where I can announce anything. But yeah, I do help co-write. I help script consult. I have my hands in a lot of projects.
I can't wait. I can't wait to not only to read, you know, the next issue of Path of the Pale Rider, the next issue of Psycho Sal, but I can't wait to hear about the other projects that you're on, because I'm definitely excited about 1 or 2 that I know about.
Yes.
So it's like it's great, and I'd love to tell people, but of course, you know, a lot of these projects are kind of like starting in the woodworks kind of thing. But I know you're well in your way with Psycho Sal, and that might be your next project that actually hits Kickstarter, I believe.
I think so.
I know he's gearing up with the covers right now, and like I said, I heard, you know, the script was going well. So
I think he tries to do every couple months. He's on Kickstarter for a new issue. He goes pretty quick with the art production as well, because they got a whole team of people, which is great.
Yeah.
So I applaud William Russell's work ethic, and how quickly he's able to turn around a project is amazing. I wish I could do that, you know.
Right.
We're just not quite there yet. Well, I haven't been around as long as he has either.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're I think on our second. Well, technically, Marco and I met in January 2022, and we self-published issue 1 in July of 2022. So I mean, it hasn't even been a year since issue 1 hit the shelves.
Right.
So I got
time. and you know, talking about being out there and being you and going out and meeting the fans and stuff. Do you have any dates that you could let us know where you could be met at?
I have one. I'm going to be at Pastime Comics on Free Comic Book Day.
Awesome.
Marco and I are going to be in 2 different places. But we're both going to be in the Fort Worth area. So I'm going to be at Pastime with comics there. I'll probably be in my cosplay with my
May 6th, Saturday, May 6th. Yeah.
Right? And then Marco will be at Geek Out, I believe, with you in Burleson, setting up a table. Oh, did I announce that?
No, go ahead.
I thought you already talked about it.
No, yeah, we have.
Yeah, so we'll be in 2 different places. So if you want to do the rounds and you can see us both, that's cool. But Marco will have books. I'll have books. Marco will also have his original art and prints for sale at Geek Out. So you could see either one of us, just depending on where you're located.
That's awesome.
Marco will also be in Dallas Fan Expo. I will not be. I will be in Michigan, standing up in my brother's wedding that weekend. So, but I'll be there, and then there might be some more. We have to look at our schedule, because Marco and I try to like share tables and do stuff together. And then we'll be at Cowtown, of course, in October, end of September.
September. I don't remember Cowtown. Yeah, Cowtown Comic Convention. Down here in Fort Worth. That's definitely. So, I mean, is there anything else that we want to talk about just in case we open up the doors? I don't know if anyone's coming in
There's
or not.
nobody in the back room right now, so
Okay.
we can do whatever. We can keep talking. No big deal.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, like I said, I've got a million questions,
I
so
was
we
like,
could
keep
still.
asking them. This is
Oh.
great because for someone who knows the story and has thoughtful questions, we can dig deep into this. Because a lot of times where I'm on a show where it's just like it's an audience and like you still get the shock value of like, oh, your burger still moves while you eat it, kind of stuff. But I like digging into the story. We could talk about where it's going. Yeah, we got all keep asking.
Well, and before, like I said, I got a million questions. So let's talk about the monitor, the monitors
Heart
that they
monitor?
have on them. Yeah. So you say they're about 10 years into that. When did
Yeah.
that kind of decide to be? I mean, how did that become a staple in their daily lives, if you will?
You're gonna see in issue 3 kind of the fall and how things get really volatile.
Right.
And so the government does this overstep at some point where there's a lot of discussion about when an undead person should have their rights taken away. Because if you were to die in your sleep tonight and wake up tomorrow, Paul, the only thing that would be different is that you don't have a heartbeat. You probably would be able to have your memories, your emotions. You'd still be able to go to work, drive a car, interact with your family, recognize everybody. But since the undead all decay differently, all have different genetics, depending on how their death occurred, the decay can happen differently.
Right.
So you're going to get people who might lose their memory quicker than others, or some that might become violent where others will not. So because it's such a big difference in how people react after they are quote unquote dead, the government just said, okay, that's it. We're making a rule. Once the heartbeat is done, you are done. Right. And then they start making decisions about how people are living. There's a lot of unrest that happens because of that. But the disc is the result of that, where it's like, okay, how do we know whether you're living or not? Because you might put on makeup or you might, be recently undead where we can't tell, but we still consider you dangerous. Right. So the disc was created to be like your identification, your, I hate to say this, but your Star of David.
Right.
On your arm, that we can tell that you are different and we can separate you, right, from the jump. So the disc, and I'm wearing a shirt that kind of represents the disc. It's a minimalistic approach to it, right? So the disc is over the heart, and when you tap this center button, it's a giant, button. Here, wait, I have a prototype.
Oh, you're gone.
Right? So if you tap this, it would like activate it and it would beat with the heart. So you would hear audio. There's a speaker on it. So you would hear the bump, 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 bump. And it would light up green with the heart activating in your chest. And if you become undead, it will flatline, it will alarm, and it will be red like this. Right? So that's if you're wearing a disc and like I'm sure I understand. Siri was very confused about what but if a police officer or some kind of authority figure wants to know if you're alive or undead, they can just come up and tap it. And it's a very easy way to be like, okay, you're alive, you come this way, you're undead, you go that way, right? But the problem is technology. There's electronics involved, and what are we so good at as people?
What's that?
Hacking electronics.
Right. Yeah, anytime you have a lock or a hack, something that you need to get through, there's always a way around it, right?
Right. There's criminals creating scanners for like credit card dip. There's phishing schemes. There's anonymous. There's, what I mean? You can hack all sorts of things. Computers, it's just endless. So you got to know that eventually someone's going to hack a disc and there's going to be bootleg discs around where maybe undead are like, I'm still alive and it's beating green and it's not attached to anything. You know what I mean? So you'll see that come up in the story as well.
So I mean, that's kind of an interesting topic I've always wanted to ask you about. So it's like, we're kind of 10 years into the future, even though we kind of went to the Wild West kind of theme at that point. is there any other new technology? Because I mean, we're still 10 years in the future.
Yes and no. I mean, once the world kind of starts to fall apart, the people with the power usually are keeping the technology for themselves.
Right.
So it's interesting to see the development of what happens with weapons.
Yeah.
Because guns are a great deterrent for the living, but not so much for the undead.
Right.
So what develops to kind of combat them? Because again, you can't take them out. How do you control them? And I mean, like, the worst answer, of course, is to take off their limbs, because if they can't run after you or can't use their arms, then guess what? They're no longer a threat.
Right.
So that's gross. But shooting doesn't do much. So are they producing guns anymore? Are they producing bullets? Is it just the military that's keeping them so they can kind of control the masses? And then what happens to weapons after that? And I'm not going to say. You'll see it. You'll see things happen. You will see other technology that has been developed to kind of combat the undead situation.
Well, I'm definitely interested to see what you have in the future, because I would love to see kind of like a riot going on, because how would they handle that?
You're
I mean, how would
you're going to see it?
If you got like 10, 20 people coming at you, I mean, and you can't just shoot them, what are they going to do? Yeah.
And here's the thing, because the riots in the beginning, you're going to have undead, but you're also going to have living sympathizers.
Right.
So how do you handle that, where you have a combination of people in the crowd?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And how do you know which one is which?
Yeah,
you're going to see it. You're going to see. I promise you will see it. Maybe not even in this issue, but we have big scenes planned in the future. Yes, you will see it.
Well, like I said, those are some of the big questions that I had. 10 years into the future, it's got to have some new technology, especially with these people being dead and undead kind of thing. You have to adapt in a certain way. So I'd love to see that. And like I said, I'd love to see a just kind of a rampage and what people would do in that instance.
Here's the thing. Because in the beginning, the undead are the minority. But as time goes on, they are going to become the majority.
Right.
So that changes a riot.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. I mean, you don't know who's dead in the middle of the riot and not.
We have a new friend that joined us. I'd like everybody to say hi to Brandon Star.
What's happening?
Hey, what's up?
Comics. Oh, are you wearing the shirt too? Let me see.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Woo, look. Yeah, I'm so glad you got your. Yep, thank you. He's like, wait.
And that's from Path of the Pale Rider issue 2. That's a Ken Salinas cover.
Ken Salinas cover.
Yeah. Amazing artist right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was at a movie theater with a table set up, and someone walked in with a Path of the Pale Rider shirt on. I was like, wow. Are you kidding me? He's like, yeah, they came in.
Yeah, you made it.
What?
You made it at that point.
I guess so. I don't know. But it must have been someone who supported Ken Salinas and knew that he was going to be there, so wore it on purpose. But I was just
okay.
I was like, nice try. He's like, in the wild, Laurie. And I was like, okay. There's some place that you weren't announced to be there, and then you saw one. I was like, then we've made it. We're at 118 backers, 62.85.
Awesome.
54 minutes. Yeah.
Let me see what I can do here.
Hopefully a couple more people hop on. That'd be cool to get 120 backers. It'd be 20 more than we got last time.
Oh, did you have 20 or 100 last time?
We had exactly 100 backers last time, which was cool.
So you just went up every Kickstarter, didn't you?
No. Here's the thing, and this gets talked about a lot. Where your first Kickstarter will do great, your second one is actually harder.
Oh yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah. Well.
Yeah. So we did, but it wasn't bad. It's not like we fell a lot in numbers. I think we had 112 backers the first campaign, and then I think we had exactly 100 the second one. And we actually did a little bit less, but it was like $100, so it wasn't a lot. But yeah, I worked my butt off that second campaign. I felt like, I was hitting a brick wall.
Right.
This one was a lot different. So.
Were you ever thinking about doing the 60-day one?
No. Oh God.
You don't want to?
30 days feels like 60 days to me.
And it plateaus for so long. I mean,
it does.
Yeah. It does, but it gives you a lot more time, and you don't feel like you have to cram it all in and all that stuff too. I don't know. Depends on how you look at it.
A 2-week one, I would. I don't know if I'm brave enough to do that yet. But I've heard like 2 weeks is the magic number because you don't have that plateau. Everybody knows get in, get your stuff, and then it's like there's maybe 1 week, maybe right in the middle, where it's like that middle point that maybe slows down, but then it picks up the second week, and then everybody comes in at the end like they do, and then you're done. So if I could turn around the same numbers that I'm getting now in 2 weeks, I would definitely do it. But again, I don't know if I'm brave enough.
Yeah.
Brandon's like, let's do 90-day campaign.
let's do a whole year. Yeah,
I'm good with 30 days. It gives you time to get on more shows and whatnot. 2 weeks just seems too short to me to get it out there. But I mean, 60 days, that's a long time.
Tom Hutchinson is coming on my show in May. They're doing a 9-day campaign.
Yeah, but again, he's been around for
right. Exactly. I was like, I need some time before I get there. 9 days. Better have everybody show up on day 1.
Please, yeah. Let's do a 24-hour one. How about that?
Yeah. It'd be a 1-page comic because that's all I could afford in the one.
$5. I'm like, well, we didn't make it.
I'm gonna have to draw this myself. All right.
All right. Woo, Marco, I can't afford you no more.
Laurie's gonna letter it.
Yep, I'll do it for free. It's like, I need 50% of your funds. Well, here's $250.
$250.
Oh yeah, I forgot you did the lettering. You did the lettering for your comic too, Laurie, right?
I do.
No, never mind.
What?
I was gonna say, do you want to do mine, but Demetrius does
it. No, you need to pay Demetrius to do it because
no, he does it. Yeah. What?
I'm just laughing. I was on Doc Blalock's show today, and he always teases that his artist lives in his basement as well. We always tease Brandon that Demetrius is in his basement and he needs to go feed him, and Doc does the same. So it must be a thing. Marco does not live in my basement. He lives in a penthouse.
I feel like I live in my artist's basement. Yeah.
I live in my own basement as well.
You live in your basement? We're in Texas. There is no basement.
Yeah. You're not allowed to get a basement.
Nope. No basement here. Sucks when your house gets blown over by a tornado.
Yeah, but don't you have like emergency like holes you can go in?
We're not that far north.
We don't get that many tornadoes anyway.
No.
We get one every 3 years, 4 years.
What do you even get there?
There's been a tornado every single year since we've moved here in 2019.
It's because of you.
It's me. I brought the nasty weather. It's my fault. I get blamed for so much like apocalypse crap. Like Vic is convinced that I caused the pandemic. Thanks, Vic. Whatever. My sister said the same thing though. She's like, "Man, the weather has been really weird since you showed up, Laurie." I was like, "Great."
You just have a black cloud above you.
Rice Krispies and hair-covered cough drops. That's what Carol gets from Doc and living in his basement.
I'd like some Rice Krispies.
Rice Krispie treats? I'm up for that.
Yeah, Rice Krispie treats.
You missed it. They want me to Pikachu the shit out of a watermelon. That'll be great.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. I don't know. We just leave that up there. It's not going to do much. I don't think. I think we might be done.
You got 48 minutes left.
Come on, you could get 2 more. I'm sure there's 2 more people out there. If you're watching this, make sure you're sharing it so we can get 2 more people. Share it and tell your friends now. Go to hers and back. We just need 2.
2 more. That would be great.
Yeah. And then after that, we need 10 more.
And
If we get 32 more backers. If we get 32 more backers, we'll unlock another stretch goal.
Yeah.
Or another $215. If someone gets the big James, we can unlock another stretch goal. It's the truth.
Yeah.
Where's the YouTube link to this? Am I stupid?
Yep.
I was about to say, don't answer that.
It should be there. If it's not, I could send it to you. I don't know. Is it? No, I'm in the stream. I can't get out and send it to you. I sent it to all the backers. You should have it in your email. There you go.
Dun, dun, dun.
I was like, come hang out and chat. Hey, we're gonna close out the campaign. I might as well just leave it up. I got 47 minutes.
You should run the video real fast and maybe some of the multimedia that you got. Yeah.
Oh, let's do that. We could talk about some of the short films.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? It might be better if I show them a different way, because for some reason when I show it on screen, it freaks out the sound.
Oh.
Yeah. So let me go to. Here's Pine Fox. You guys have seen these, so I'm sorry.
When it comes to an inspired and privileged retirement, Pine Fox is where you want to be. Quality of life, peace of mind, harmony, it's all here. The setting is beautiful and peaceful. The atmosphere is lively and enriching. The amenities have something for everyone and every interest. At Pine Fox, your health and well-being is a top priority. Our community is growing and just waiting for you to join us. If making the most of your AD years matters to you, the choice is clear. Pine Fox.
Katie, time to come in.
Okay, Mom.
For more information, call 216-555.
So, Pine Fox. In the Western movies, they bury you in a pine box, right? And this phone number is 555-3323, and on the touch tone, it's DEAD. Just thought I'd let you know. At some point, I would love to own www.pinefox.com if it's still available, and make it an actual website where you can interact with the undead retirement community. That would be fun.
3323 or visit pinefox.com today.
Oh, wait, there's more. I need that. Remove that one. So that was number one. We had fun doing that, and that was kind of like our first concept about doing short films. That was like in the middle of the pandemic, and hard time finding people to be in it because it was like nobody wanted to come out. You know what I mean? We were all wearing masks. So it's just it was interesting. The second one we did, I wanted to get more involvement, and boy, was I happy with the involvement. Because I had so much that it ended up being like 8 minutes, and I cut it down to like 5. just to make sure it wasn't like laborious to watch. But a ton of people came out, which was really cool. So we were tackling like the conspiracy theories behind what people think broke death. And I didn't, nobody knows what it is unless you've read the script. So it was a great time to do it because nobody has a clue. And everybody was allowed to say whatever they wanted, which was really funny. So.
Is that the one that you're
in it?
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was the one.
This is the one that you're in, yes.
Okay.
Someday it'll be there, Don.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us on Channel 13 WDED. I'm Lewis Landon. As you know, we've been following this crisis as it develops. And now we'd like to go live to Ellie Brock on location, talking to you, the viewer, on what you think caused this horrific crisis. Ellie, good evening. And how are you?
Hello, Lewis. How are you? I'm here on location today. We're going to walk the streets and see what people have to say. Hello, thank you for joining me this afternoon.
You got it.
What do you think broke the death process?
The witches.
It's the cats!
You know, if I had to pick one thing, it'd be the aliens.
Aliens?
Yes, aliens.
Where did they come from?
Outer space.
Why do you think the death process is broken?
I can tell you. It's that damn sugar.
That's a good question. And a lot of you are going to say the government. I know, in fact, most of you are going to say the government.
I think it's the government.
No comment. Do you want to talk about what you think broke the death process? Sir. What? Sir, do you have a second? I'd like to ask you a question.
It has to be Anthony Fauci.
None of this is the reason death was broken.
I honestly think it's vaccines.
What's causing the undead and what's causing the human form to turn into the undead, and it's not just death. Think about it, this makes sense.
No comment.
Wait, are you saying we can't die?
I think it's the food that we eat.
It's in our candy.
I'm not answering no questions.
Is it even real? What?
That's my editor, by the way.
Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not.
I bet it's the cats.
She was like, I'm gonna be
I
drunk.
know it's the cats.
Go for
Everything
it.
is genetically processed now.
So GMOs.
Remember the pygmies?
You know what I gotta say though? Everybody who was thinking about it, and like Chris Hayes was being funny. He says like voodoo pygmies, right? But everybody who was actually trying to come up with an answer, a lot of them said food, and also like GMOs and like sugar and McDonald's processed food. And it's funny because now that The Last of Us came out, where it's like the theory in that book was it was flour. So it's like, here we are, Path of the Pale Rider, and we are doing it before it becomes a thing. You know what I mean? Before it comes mainstream. Big James was here before Cocaine Bear. So it's like, we're spot on, people. We're here. We're
Are you saying food is what broke the death process?
Nope, I'm not saying anything.
No fucking comment.
It's the nanotech technology.
A pale horse, and he who sat upon it was death.
Can you elaborate?
Look, man, I don't know. Back off.
Go back. I'm going to talk over your spot.
Nanotech technology.
A pale horse, and he who sat upon it was death.
Can you elaborate?
Look, man, I don't know. Back off.
Maybe this is all just a really bad trip.
Then you people, I think you guys are all at fault. The media, the government, Big Pharma, you guys know who did this, and I won't stand for it.
No comment.
It's in our coffee.
We can't die?
Well, I mean, your body dies. So where can people go to find this information?
Google.
That's what I think it is. Like specifically yogurt?
Not the yogurt.
It's in our drinks.
Be more specific.
Pops, he was there.
Is there a cure? I don't think so.
Honestly, I think there's a colony of pygmies, and I think they are out casting voodoo spells.
That blueberries got me real concerned.
It's in the brisket.
Yes.
It's in the barbecue.
It's in the brisket. Look around you. How many deaths do you hear about?
A lot.
I didn't know where to put the microphone.
Right now.
They're the smartest people in the world.
She didn't know what to say, so I told her just to
Ginge
cry.
he must have given me some bad stuff.
He's just said I don't die.
Your body dies, but yeah, you stay in it while you decay.
It's sugar. Don't believe everything you hear.
It's absolutely organic.
Just the meat,
Barbecue
and the
brisket.
water,
And the water.
and the vegetables.
Test the limits of life.
It's McDonald's. McDonald's broke death. And the reason I say that is if you think about it, their food don't actually burn. Their food was designed to be consumed by the dead. But see, if you take it, then you die. So it's the consumption of eating the food that only is made for that do not die. You get what I'm saying? It's McDonald's. Trust what I'm telling you.
It's just a bad trip.
Crazy, it's crazy stuff.
I'm gonna go rob a bank.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Oh my God.
I don't know why the dead don't fucking die. Look at me. Look at me. Put the phone.
And there you have it. We've spent all day asking people what they think. There's some truly wild accusations out there, and let me say, we really have no idea.
Go to commercial.
Yeah, so done.
Is she okay? Somebody call 911.
I had fun animating all that stuff too. So, yep.
Is Ellie Brock going to be in the comic?
I could write her in, especially in this issue, because we're going to see some news reports for sure. Do you guys want to see what's done? I'll show you a portion of the next one. It's not done just because it's been really difficult to do the live campaign also while fulfilling the last campaign because of the printing issue. I just haven't had time to finish, but I'm like 90% done. I need like 2 more shots. And it's just been a matter of lining up time between me and my husband because he has to be in the shot with me. And it's just been so busy. But here's kind of a preview of what's coming. Hello? Yeah.
Yeah, 6:30. Yeah, it's been at 6:30 for 2 weeks. I promise you, I've told you like 12 times. Okay, all right. Oh, can you stop and pick up some more drinks?
Yes, Don. That was Clint Eastwood.
I love you. Bye.
AKA my husband, who looks nothing like Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
I was like, who said that? Don knows. She's just joking. Someone else said that.
Hello?
Dude looks like my husband, and I was like,
Yeah.
not even.
Okay.
Now, if you look at some of the screens that are going on, you're going to see the other short films. You're going to see Catfishing, which was my first short film where we were doing martial arts. Look and see what's going on some of these screens. They're actually, they're fun. It's kind of meta. You're going to see stuff from the madness, and later on, you're going to see some things actually start to unfold.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll just catch you next time. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
There's Pine Fox.
Okay, all right. Okay, bye.
There's Pine Fox.
All right. Ooh, salt. Need to.
That's Pine Fox and Catfishing. It's just kind of funny. At least we know we won't get hit with any copyright claims.
Right.
Those are all my things.
Hello. Hello? Amanda, hi. 6:30? No? Okay. But I just, Heather just called and she canceled too. Yes, and I have been watching the news.
Look on the screen. Did you see Carissa?
No.
Yeah, on the bottom left, right?
Yeah. Did you see Carissa, Paul?
Yeah.
I didn't see her.
Look on the counter. There's an iPad set up, and that was when I launched her last. Not this past, the one that's launched now. It's the one before it when I launched it. So it was part of our.
Is that you and Pikachu?
Yeah.
Yes, and I have been watching the news. No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm just, like cooking for 12 people, but it's fine. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Apple.
So everybody's calling and canceling on this party.
Hello. Yes.
And they keep talking about the news.
I'm just gonna cancel the whole thing. No, nobody's coming. Jen, it's not not mad at you. There's we've been planning this for. Yes, I know. Yes, I have been watching the news. No, I don't care. We can talk about this later. I gotta go. Bye.
Someone's really upset about their party and not paying attention.
Yes, I've been watching the news. I just cancel the night of, everybody.
iPad.
Okay.
Hold on, Doc.
Did you catch it? All right, so there's a couple other things I've been doing all this time. There's been this droning sound that was there from the beginning that's getting louder every 30 seconds to the point where it's like you don't notice that it's there, but it's there the whole time. And then if you watch what happens, once that symbol comes on, it's the same symbol he drew on the wall or on the door, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, as soon as this is done, violence is going to start happening. So that's what happens with poor Pop's here. He's like, hang on a second, Doc. Goes to check something out. Well, my alarm is going off, and I miss it. So things start to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody remembers, but I did some drone work. So you'll see that. There's a bunch of people that have sent in pictures of being dead bodies. So you're going to see a lot of people be dead bodies at the end of this. So it's interesting. And I'm really looking forward to getting this done. So once the campaign is done and I go to Michigan and come back, I'll have, there's that 2-week period before you get your Kickstarter funds and people start going into create mode again, where I can finally sit down and finish this thing. I can't wait. There's nobody watching.
Oh.
Sorry. Yeah, hooray.
No, that looks real fun and good. I can't wait to start doing that stuff too.
You do some filmmaking too, which is really cool. Your last commercial was interesting when it came out. When I was looking.
Oh yeah. Well, so nothing really filmmaking yet, but me and the writer that I just added to Avalon too, we're working on short films that we can put in the festivals and all that stuff as well. So I'm looking forward to be doing all that stuff. Yeah. Completely separate from the Avalon and all that stuff. It's just going to be a whole nother thing too, but just to dipped my toes in the water in a bunch of other pools, and it just watching that whole thing and how you did all that too. It's fun. It's exciting. I just can't wait to see
right. There's layers to it, but it's still like once you get all the footage in there, you have to like edit it correctly. There's I have a song that starts midway through the creepy part, so there's like sound editing.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's
lighting,
a lot that goes into that.
Color correction, blah 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 blah. So it's a lot of work, but I enjoy it. What I want to learn next is animation on Procreate, because you can animate things using. Yeah, you can animate with Procreate. It has an animation guide, and I think you can do like 180 panels in one kind of segment. But I have this idea of like an instruction video. I haven't decided which topic I'm going to tackle yet. Like, welcome to being undead. Here's a guide to help you navigate your new whatever, right? And then animate it like those Fallout cartoons where like in the beginning of Fallout where they introduce the specials and they're like, strength is important when blah, blah, blah. And it's like super gory, but campy, cartoony gore. And they're hilarious. So I was like, what if we did something like that? Or like, welcome to the undead retirement community. Here's what you can expect. Stuff like that. But that one we wouldn't be able to tackle until we get through issue number 8. So I might do something else. I don't know.
That's really cool. I didn't know you could. Is that like a new update?
It's been around. I just didn't know. I don't know how to use it. But it's basic. It's for like basic animation, not anything too complicated, which is my level of animation, right? And if I could do that, I could see where we can go. Or of course, we'd have to hire somebody to animate, which is just another $1.
A big dollar too. We were looking into that too, and I'm hoping that we can do that for next year's like big marketing push when we push the volume out of the first volume out. So we're hoping to have a animated like trailer, like a full like one to pay somebody to do it. But I was looking into a bunch of them here, even locally, and it's real expensive. It's like
it is. Like the short film Catfishing is 7 minutes, and I think we paid $1,500 for 7 minutes. Right. And we did all that. Well, I mean, the production company made it look amazing, but we did all the falling down and we did all the getting hit by cars and the wall run and beating. I felt like I got hit by a truck every night, you know?
I can't wait to do that. I want to get hit by a truck.
You have to film it in reverse. That's the movie magic behind it. So when you see that, me getting hit by the car, I'm actually going this way and I hop off the car and the car keeps going out of scene and then I smile for the camera, right? And then when you put it in reverse, it's like, here I am, and then right? So that's how you do it.
I just want to full blown like hit by the car.
Want to get hit by a car.
I just want to get hit by a car.
I just want to be
I announced I was going to get hit by a car. My parents were both very concerned.
You're like, just wait till you see it.
I was like, I will be 100% safe. I promise. They're like,
back on your thing though too. When I opened issue 2, I was like,
Did you remember? It's been so freaking long. Everybody was like, what is this?
Yeah, I opened it. I'm like, what is that? And then I saw the sticker on it too, and I literally was like, laughing out loud. Honestly, like I was like, that's funny. That's good.
We got a new. You're gonna get your survey pretty quickly on the next one, and there's some other random questions that seem meaningless but are not. I like playing those games. They're fun.
Did you send those out?
We're not done with campaign yet, so no.
Oh yeah. Well,
you got another 24 minutes before I can send you the.
I'll be setting an alarm for the survey.
Oh, don't worry. It'll send you an email that says like, we are funded, congratulations. And then it'll say, we have taken your money. Congratulations. And then it'll say, please take some time and fill out this survey. So
I'm going to look at my bank account and go,
damn it, Laurie.
Can I withdraw that?
Either that or I'll be like, dear Brandon, please check your email to resolve issues.
It's not going through.
Just kidding. I'm kidding. But you always have to do that where you're like, hello, person.
Guess what? Didn't go through. I think that happened with me, not on the last one. I think issue 2. I think issue 2 that happened with me. And it was like, I don't remember what it even said. It said something weird. I was like, what the hell is that? And then I had to like figure it out, and I don't remember what it was. Huh? For my issue 2.
That people, cards always bounce.
Yeah.
Well, there was just one of them, and it said something like weird, and I wasn't sure what it was. Yeah, there's just one of them.
That's amazing.
Oh, so it happens very often, I guess.
Oh yeah, it happens. Like, and most of them are able to resolve, but there's usually 1 or 2 that get dropped. I think my last campaign, I only had 2, and that was great. I think they were both smaller amounts. Our friend Carissa had a huge card that fell through. It was like $400, and it didn't process. And she was, thank God she was far enough advanced where it didn't sink the whole campaign. Because if it goes below the funding, then you get nothing.
Oh yeah, that would have. Oh yeah, if you're right on that border too, and then somebody, that would suck.
Yep.
I didn't realize how often people don't meet the goal either. There's a couple. Well, there's a couple things I funded, or I grabbed a pledge for a reward, and actually I think 2 of them, because I don't do it often because I don't have any money. But I grabbed like 2 of them, and I'm like, and they didn't fund. I was like, oh, I thought it was pretty not common, but I thought it was more likely than not people fund.
I think they say it's what, 75% fund.
Yeah,
like 25 don't. Yeah.
And it's like, I think they say that if you get to 80%, you're most likely going to fund once you get to 80%.
That was what me and Alan, when we made our first Kickstarter, we're like, okay, so what's the amount we're going to do? Okay. I don't remember the amount we picked, but we picked an amount because we didn't know how the hell we were going to use it. He knew of it, but he didn't know how to like use it. So we're like talking about it, and we're like, okay, what's the number? What's the amount we're willing to like spend just in case it doesn't
out of pocket,
and we were like talking about it. We're like, okay, as soon as it hits like 70 or 80%, we'll just figure it out. We'll pay the remaining just so we get the funding and we can actually do it. But and unfortunately we did it. We did it. We didn't have to do that. So that was
there's a big controversy about that too.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, whether people should step in and bring it to funding, or whether you should just let it, not go.
Not fun.
Well, depending on the amount, like looking at it, like in hindsight, actually that probably could have screwed us in the end, because no matter what, that money's getting dumped back into the project to print off those issues and all that stuff. And basically, whatever you're using the money to pay for, you're paying it out of pocket regardless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I mean, setting a budget is probably one of the most not controversial, but it's like the biggest decision you could make in your Kickstarter is what you do, what you set your goal to be. Because it's like, do I set it like people put it at like 500, but 500 is not going to pay for anything,
nothing,
right? So I mean, you'll hit that real quick, but you still run the risk of not hitting your actual goal. So you're still going to be obligated to produce a product and not have the money. I don't know. Where it's like with us, it's like 45.50 was the number we used on the first campaign that was black and white. So
and then adding all the the color with it too, and then kind of seeing what you got now, you're like, you needed that extra money.
I mean, the thing about that is you're funding the comic with it though. I mean, I fund my comic out of pocket, and I only put down about 1,000 because I'm just paying for the printing.
Right.
And I expect to make my money on conventions and signings and stuff.
All this extra money.
No. As a matter of fact, I'm probably the poorest person here. But like I said,
shaking his wallet.
I make my money off the cons and the signings and other stuff like that. Because that's where I sold most of my books. If PTS didn't sell like it did, I would have never been able to do any other projects.
Right, and I mean that's the goal, is to like sell more books and then be able to funnel that back into the project and then lower the goal. So that's what we're hoping to do. But it takes time. It takes time to do that, and we'll get there. But I think our actual goal was like 5,500, which of course we met, so we're fine.
Yeah, that's good. It's 4,500.
45.50, we kept it the same, but 45.50 would get everybody a black and white comic, and we hired a colorist. So I mean, like we have no intention of doing a black and white issue at this point. So we really needed an additional $1,000 to be able to pay for the gap between paying another artist, paying the print charge increase, and then every time we release an issue, of course, there's the catch-up tier, so we're printing more every time as well. So.
Yeah. Well, and just like you were saying, Paul, though, I do it very similar to that. I pay the artist out of pocket, and then with this Kickstarter, it's more like the printing costs, the trying to get into events. It's if we're doing like a big kind of like thing, like right now we're promoting it now, but like I had Demetrius do original pencilings of the character.
Yeah.
So if this wants to show, so getting that from Greece, where he's from, to here, and then paying him for that, I paid him out of pocket for that, and but obviously it's going to be a reward on there to get a lot of other things with it, but it's just things like that I pay out of pocket, and then I just hope for the printing part, because the printing part is what always screws me.
See, the one thing about this campaign compared to any of the rest of them, you notice that this campaign of mine, that is pretty much bare bones. There's not really that much extra stuff. And I kind of did that for a reason, because I plan on doing like a collection at some point with this book and a few previous books. And I want to do all those add-ins, like the original pages and whatnot on that collection kind of thing. And I want to bring that goal a little bit ahead. But like I said, I mean, I usually pay out of pocket. And most of my previous books have been to where they could pay for the majority of the next book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's a lot of different ways to go about it too, and I feel like you could always learn from the last one you did. I tried something new with the last one we did. I tried to do like an all exclusive one. It did what I kind of expected it to do. It didn't do as good as 2 or 1. It was like kind of what I expected. It was just like an all exclusive, and I got reamed out by Pops for not doing it.
On the live, too, we were like launching. We were like,
it was funny because I was explaining it to him. I was like, I get what you're saying, but it was like I'm doing an exclusive Kickstarter. Like just like this is you get your exclusive cover, all that stuff. Like I'm trying to keep it like just exclusive to the Kickstarter and not get this stuff after the fact. So, but. Like I said, it was like a kind of like a test thing. It did what we expected it would do, and I mean we funded it, which was great, and now we're here, moving on.
Yeah, I mean every single one is different, and it's like now that I've done this, I'd be interested in what we're gonna do next time. You know what I mean? Is it gonna be a continuation of this? Are we gonna stay at this? Are we gonna exceed this? I don't know. Every time is a little different, so we'll see. But of course, our goal is to strive to build the audience and get a bigger, bigger viewing into the world so people can find us. So I don't know, whatever, Paul. There's nobody watching at this point, so we can wrap up. Get out of the studio for the next group. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me and just watching the clock tick down. That's half the nerves at the end is like watching the clock tick down.
Yeah, I know. I got to quick withdraw my payment. I'm kidding. I'm
glad that hasn't happened while we've been on the live, because that shit does happen where the people are like, oh yeah, cancel, and you're like,
that's crazy though. I feel like I would just like forget about it. I'd be like, oh, let me do this, and then I would just completely forget about it.
I don't know. I don't worry about my campaigns as much as I used to. At first, like the first 2, I think I was, on them every second, but like this one. I'm like,
oh, Don is still here. I'm sorry, Don. It says nobody is watching. I apologize.
Oh, how dare you?
That's
how dare you, Laurie? How dare you?
How dare I? Wait,
we wouldn't treat you like that, Meow.
How dare you?
I apologize. Wait, there's a nobody one. What's
nobody cares?
That's not what I wanted to do. No, not even close. This is Paul's studio, so I'm not used to all the buttons that are in here. So it's his fault.
Don't blame me.
I'm just kidding. All right, let's wrap it up here. I'll play a few minutes commercials, and then we'll head out so that Still Token can get in here and do what they need to do.
Why don't y'all talk about where they can see you, what you're doing?
Brandon, you're freaking launching soon, right?
No, this is your show. Don't worry.
Yeah,
about
well, tell people where
you
they
go
can
first.
find you.
We'll go last. Guess first.
No, you go. You're good. I have my show coming up with you on the 28th, so we're good.
All right. Well, on the 28th of April, we will be launching Brandon's campaign for Avalon, since he don't want to talk about it, but that is coming up very soon. Avalon is a zombie infection story based off of the Castle family, who gives us a different perspective of what a zombie apocalypse would look like from a family point of view. It's a great story. There's a main character named Miller we are on the edge of our seat to see how this turns out, because he's infected. Dun dun dun. So I'm not spoiling anything that happens in like the first issue. So
nothing. But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna record you explaining it and giving the elevator pitch, and then I'll start showing it.
People like me doing their, like Carissa's like, let Laurie do my elevator pitch, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm just good at it, I guess. So yeah, I can do your welcome videos and be like, hi, I'm Brandon Starochi. Welcome to Avalon Comics.
I'll give you like a fake wig that looks like a toupee, and then kind of
a fake mustache, and you're like, I'm Brandon Starochi. But we're in the Zombies Live group together, so if you want to come hang out and talk all things zombies, we're in a group together. You can come hang out and see both of our things. I feel like Sam and Trey have abandoned us and don't post anything anymore. Maybe we should randomly throw some Ray stuff in there just for their fans who are there.
Just for their sake, just to help them out a little bit.
Right.
And we'll take some of the revenue.
Right. There's no revenue. What are you talking about?
All right, guys.
All right.
And for me, I'm Paul Gomez, Paul Gomez 790, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you need any help with comics, if you are having a bad day and just need to talk, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, 790. I am running a campaign at the moment as well. That's Prelude to Aurora, Gargoyles and Demons in an epic battle. But of course, like I say, if you're going to buy one book, buy Laurie's first. That way.
And go get Paul's.
And then come get mine.
Go pick up Brandon's. This is the headline. It's optional. If that's funny.
I wanted to bring light to that right before we ended. I just want to let everybody know. Okay, it is optional.
All right, I got like 2 minutes to play commercial before we got to get the heck out of here. So we're going to kick everybody out. Bye. Say goodbye. It would help if I actually had this stuff pulled up to actually push the buttons. Here you go.
Revenge, the sweetest morsel to the mouth that ever was cooked in hell.
Comic Books for Kids provides comic books to kids in hospitals and cancer centers across the U.S. It's a place where we can all work together to make sure every child has a comic book. 100% of all proceeds go towards the kids. It's about making a difference, and while they're in the hospital, allowing them to fly like a superhero, battle dragons, or rescue teddy bears. We are in every state in the country and now support over 160 hospitals. Every month, we add